Now the next thing we're going to look at is grid and snap. With AutoCAD there are lots of different drawing techniques that they have developed over the years, and they tend not to take them away. They're all there, but they mightn't be as commonly used, but it is good to know about them in case you do want to use them. So first of all, the grid. Now you'll notice we've got this grid pattern here behind, and that's turned off and on by these buttons down here on our status bar. So at the moment the grid is off. If we click it again, grid is on. You'll notice also on the tooltip it's saying F7, so we've got a shortcut key to turn the grid on and off. Now that's useful because when you're looking at the screen you don't know how big that screen is. It could be 100 kilometers or it could be 1 millimeter. So the grid is useful for telling us how big our screen actually is. To see the size, if we right click on our grid button and go to settings, click on settings, it'll take us to the drafting settings panel, which is snap and grid we're looking at, and once again you can see you've got F7 to turn the grid on and off, and the grid spacing, there's a major and a minor spacing. At the moment it's set to grid spacing of 10 and a major line every 5. Now along with that we've also got snap as an option, and that can be the same size as the grid or it can be a separate different size. You can set the snap to every 1 millimeter if you want to. If we turn that on and OK, once again it can be done with the F9 key as well, or by just clicking on the button down the bottom here which says snap mode. Now when we go into line drawing with the snap on, we start drawing, you'll notice that the mouse is actually snapping to those points. It's very difficult to actually draw in between those grid. It just jumps from one to the other. So if you're drawing something that is in 5mm increments or 10mm increments, then that's quite a handy way to draw without doing any measurements. You can just sort of count across and draw it that way. Now the other thing that's useful, although not used as much these days, is what are known as the limits. Now if we type in the word limits, it tells us that currently the lower left hand corner of the screen is 0, 0, and if we just accept that, the upper right hand corner is 420 by 297, which is basically an A3 sheet. So we can set the limits of our sheet to represent the size of a particular sheet. And what that will do, if I just remove that drawing there, when we zoom to the limits of the screen, it will just show that extent of the screen, so you know that you're looking at an A3 sheet.